Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, this is my 2009 Corvette Z06 that, as you can see, has seen better days. If you haven't seen the other videos, I'll link it up here above. But long story short, spun out in turn 11 of Homestead Speedway, and now we look like this. But before we get into the weeds of what we've found, let's rewind this video about a week or so ago where we last left off, which was getting ready and prep for measuring the frame, taking the body off, and all those fun steps. Let's go. So phase one of checking to see if this thing is actually bent or not, when I say bent, I mean the frame, is control arm. Let's open her up. See what we got here. Weighs absolutely nothing. Now here's my concern is, wow, the part number is the same. So when I was looking this up, I couldn't find the same part number as the one on my car. And I finally gave up and just ordered one randomly and said, well, let's hope for the best. Same part number. Let's get it on. Be real easy. Yep. Control arm is out. You can kind of see, where's the screen? It's not going to focus here, but this whole bushing, where's the screen? This whole bushing, as you can see, has completely shifted out of place. And obviously from this side, that's not supposed to look that way. Here's the other piece. Wait for my wife to get home so I can actually measure, but I hate to say it, it definitely looks tweaked. My toe is going to be really far off, but I'm pretty sure that wheel's peeking to the inside. Let's take a look at it from this angle here, see if it'll show on camera. I don't know. It does look pretty bad. It's also missing the fender, which doesn't really help. So not exactly doing this correctly. I'm taping it onto the wheels just so I can get a measurement. But if this is correct, we're in some serious trouble. All right, let go. I have to remeasure once my wife is home, or someone that can hold the measuring tape still to the center of the cap. You sure you're there? Yep. Grayson. Kind of disrupting this fantastic video you're watching to kind of talk about the measurements that I initially made in those couple clips you just saw. Now, those measurements are designed to just kind of give you a preliminary or just some sort of indication of, like, you know, am I screwed or do I have a light at the end of the tunnel? What we were going for on those initial measurements, when I say we, I mean me, was wheelbase measurement. So essentially measuring from the rear wheel to the front wheel and it being the same as the other side. On that very first measurement where I'm talking about how I'm being impatient, I went ahead and measured from the outer part of the front rim to the outer part of the rear rim. The problem with that is that that's not an accurate way to measure at all, because of tire variants and other things like that. The lip, tire bulge can move that number around. Plus, never measure by yourself. It's impossible to do so and have consistency with what you're doing. I was literally taping it onto the rim edge. What you're supposed to do is measure from hub to hub. Now you can do that with the wheel on or the wheel off. Obviously I did it with the wheels on, measuring from the center cap to the center cap, getting your measurement and then comparing it to the other side. They should be very, 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 very close to each other. Obviously, you're measuring with a measuring tape. It's not going to be 100%, but you definitely shouldn't be an inch or half an inch or anything like that. When I initially measured, from front to back when I did the outer lip, the reason why you kind of hear some bad news in my voice is because I was off by like half an inch or maybe more. And I was like, wait a minute. We're in some deep trouble. You can't fix half an inch of alignment. When my wife came home, we remeasured again. And as you can kind of see, I just put a short clip of it there. My son is kind of in the way. He's messing around. He really wants the measuring tape. So we measured again, and now we were only about 1/8 of an inch off. 1/8 of an inch, you know, adjusting some other things, maybe checking the toe and stuff like that, you could probably find it in the alignment. So that gave me a much higher green light. But again, it doesn't ever clear you out and say, okay, well, you know what, that's fine, I'm good to go based on that. It is a good indicator that you're heading in the right direction though. So when we pulled the tub off, which you'll see coming up, we remeasured, and we'll talk a little bit about those measurements after you kind of watch that part. But when we did the initial one, because I did it incorrectly the first time, and then the second time I did it with my wife and my son kind of messing with us, we were getting varying results between 1/4 and 1/8. 1/4 being on a bit more of the dangerous side, 1/8 being much more manageable with a couple things. So just want to interrupt with that. Let's get back to the video. No mic. Today's D-Day. We're going to pull the trunk off this thing, the rear tub off, and basically inspect the frame, but also we have to remove the rear tub to put a new one on. So going to turn this thing around, point it forward into the garage so we have a little bit more space to work on the backside, and get this done. My back is spazzing out today, so I'm going to look limp. But I got my old man and my 2 brothers coming to kind of give me a hand here, but let's get this thing done. Dirt. See this? Dirt, dirt, dirt. Okay? So we want to clear the dirt off.
Make it truck life.
Well, so as you can see, we made a lot of progress on the car. We're moving a lot faster than I anticipated. Honestly, I thought this car would be down for a lot longer. And to be honest, it was not that bad of a job. It took us, we started maybe about close to 11:30 or noon. And we were done by like 3 o'clock, 3 or 4 o'clock. So it wasn't too bad of a job. Will I recommend it? No, unless you absolutely need to do it, like something like in my situation. When you see us prying in the video, is essentially, for those that are not aware, the entire rear fiberglass encasing or housing, the trunk, the composite trunk, is held on by 2 7mm screws, which are bolted back here in the frame, and a crap ton of panel bond. So essentially what we're prying is just kind of getting the fiberglass to let go of the panel bond. Now we were far more aggressive here because we knew we were eliminating this rear tub entirely, so we could be a little bit more bullish on how we were trying to pry it. I really don't know how these scrap yards do it where they can still sell the tub without it getting damaged, because obviously as we're prying in some areas it was popping and cracking, those sort of things. The next steps are I essentially have to grind off so that panel bond releases itself off the fiberglass. Doesn't really get stuck to it like that, but it definitely stays on the frame. So I basically have to grind down the frame and just basically take off the panel bond, essentially on all the frame points here and up the rear halo to get the new rear tub ready to be installed. I've spoken to a couple people. I believe I have a tub available for me within the next week or so. I do have to follow up with them and kind of see where they stand. But in the interim, if they take another week or so to get it, I'm way ahead of schedule where I anticipated to get this car back in running. And it gives me some time to kind of work through some things. Speaking of the frame, we measured the frame. We obviously measured the wheelbase. You saw a little bit earlier on the video. I did not record when we measured the frame. We were just kind of wrapping up and we started to do some preliminary measurements. We essentially did what most people recommend, which is cross point measuring. So basically making an X on the frame. Those checked out absolutely fine. You do have to choose a point to measure from. That way you make sure you have accurate measurements on both sides. And then for us, what we essentially did, we can visibly see on that right corner that the frame got pinched. And it's basically at the very rear. So what happened was at that right rear angle, the crash bar sticks out about another foot or two past the frame. That entirely bent completely in towards the frame and pinched the frame at the very end. But for me, there's nothing body-wise that mounts to the frame there. There's no suspension that's impacted by the frame being pinched in that corner. So that's a wash. But what I wanted to make sure, was there any movement that potentially would impact how my car would align? Because the suspension is probably only a foot deep in or maybe 2 feet deep in. So we measured all the inner points and we just kept measuring, and we can obviously visibly see where that impact happened. That's the only part where there's a variance. As we measure out, everything is pretty spot on. So we're pretty optimistic that there isn't any damage there. We can reassemble and essentially just get the car realigned. I do assume that there's a little bit of a belly on the right rear toe link, so I'm gonna order a toe link on that side and just put it in new just for my own sanity, and we'll get it on the alignment rack once the car is built. We're not gonna do it while the car is taken apart. While the car is taken apart though, I've always had a notorious little kind of, every time we looked under the rear diff or the transaxle, there was always some residue of oil. Not like an active leak, but just something that's been seeping for a very long time. It looks like it seems to be one of these sensors up here at the top of the transmission. And what better time that I can reach that sensor right here with my hand without a trunk in place. So gonna go ahead and get that done. The crash bar is obviously damaged on that right side, and it is welded into place. It's not a bolted on crash bar. So I've got to make the decision to either cut this one out and put a new one in, or potentially just try to weld or repair that corner, or essentially leave it without a crash bar on that side. So I'll make that decision in the coming weeks. The Akapovic exhaust took a hit, and now the quad tips are out of alignment, and one of the tips took a pretty big scrape to it. Unfortunately, these tips cost $1,600, and I'm talking about just the tip. That is insane to me that I would spend $1,600 on tips. So we're gonna find another solution so that if we can repair it, great. If not, we'll replace the tips with a, maybe another model or something like that. We're doing research there. So realign the exhaust. And then as for the interior, essentially to remove the roof, we took the seats out for more space and more comfort. And you do have to remove the roof because that's the only way you can remove the halo. So it's officially a Grand Sport right now. The seats are out. I've had Sparco harnesses for this car now for the last couple of months, but I don't own a Hans device, so I wasn't in a rush to put them in. But now that the seats are out, I'm gonna route them, get them installed, and regardless, I still have a 3-point harness if I choose to not run the harnesses every time, or if I just want to take a drive and a cruise, stuff like that. When I got back in the car after the accident, my driver's seat had me positioned like a Hot Boy in a Chevy Caprice. I started to get scared that potentially either these are the QRTC, so they're a carbon fiber backed seat, that either the carbon fiber in the seat had crushed, basically come apart, or worse, that the birchwood flooring that these cars have had basically taken the brunt of the impact and fallen apart, which would obviously lead to much more repairs. It turns out that on that seat, I have a Sparco seat brackets on top of a slider, and it turns out that Sparco seat bracket and that slider have exited the chat. The passenger seat was running the ultra low mount. There was no one in it anyways. I may put the ultra low mount in the driver's side as well. It's much more of a firm. For sure, we're gonna go to a more static placement and not a slider because it did exit the chat. Plus, it's got a little bit too much height for me, in my opinion. So we're gonna fix that while that's out. And then outside of that, just put this thing back together once we have all the components. Again, like 1 or 2 weeks for the rear tub. I do have to source that quarter panel for that side, but I already have the bumper, the hood, the trunk, and everything else. So if you've watched it this far, I appreciate it, especially in these times. The more views I can get, any little pennies that I can make on this content goes right back into getting this car right back on the racetrack. Hopeful that it'll be sooner rather than later. If you watch this far, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.